as of right now, the champion is Tom Aspinall, but we'll see who's the champion at the end of the year. It'd be only fitting to have an American guy fight for the championship that night, and I'd be willing to put it all on the line.
Nice.
And I saw Jones. We don't know if he was serious. Is he not retired anymore? Is he back in the...
You jump back in the pool, so...
Really?
Yeah.
Officially?
Yeah, oh yeah. Literally everybody wants to fight on this card. Makes it a lot more fun. The dream main event right now would be Aspinall versus Jones.
In my mind. That's it. I'm not interested, mate. Not interested. And the world shouldn't be interested either, because what's the point? This is false hope.
Nobody is going to take those glorious spots except for the people who have earned them by showing their loyalty back to the industry and to the company. And frankly, none of those other guys deserve them. John does not deserve to have a main event spot on the White House card.
First and foremost, are you retired?
I am not retired. I'm actively training 5 days a week, and I'm in the UFC's drug testing pool.
Breaking news has rattled the MMA world. Jon Jones has stunned everyone by dropping a bombshell call-out, targeting none other than Tom Aspinall for the highly anticipated White House card. The White House card is already considered historic before it has even been finalized. The UFC has turned it into the biggest talking point in combat sports, with fighters from all corners of the roster rushing to express their interest in participating. Everyone sees this event as a career-defining opportunity, a platform that could mark their place in history.
This is me, Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler and myself have done the show, The Ultimate Fighter. We've had a good back and forth. He's a good, tough guy. And, you know, the Mac is excited to get back for sure.
Amidst all the excitement, Jon Jones, one of the most polarizing yet legendary figures in MMA, stepped forward and made his intentions clear. And that declaration caught everyone off guard. Jones described the White House card as a historic moment and said he would not waste it on anyone other than a true rival. Without hesitation, he named Aspinall, a matchup fans had speculated about for years but never believed would actually materialize.
So they've announced this White House UFC fight. Can we expect to see you on the card?
I can't promise anyone anything, but I have a very strong feeling that I'll be on that card. It's going to be historic.
But who would you take on? Who would be your dream opponent?
I would want to take on whoever's holding the belt at the end of the year.
Any possible names you think?
Well, no, I mean, as of right now, the champion is Tom Aspinall, but we'll see who's the champion at the end of the year. It'd be only fitting to have an American guy fight for the championship that night, and I'd be willing to put it all on the line.
Nice.
Daniel Cormier, a longtime rival of Jones and now a voice of reason inside the UFC media machine, quickly shared his perspective. For him, the entire situation was almost comedic. He suggested that Jones had once again proven himself to be unpredictable, always finding ways to create drama. Cormier believed the constant cycle of retiring, unretiring, and steering the headlines had become unfair to the fighters who had consistently carried the sport forward. In his mind, Jones should not be given a slot at the White House card, especially not opposite Tom Aspinall. To him, that chapter was closed long ago, and reopening it now served no purpose.
Jon Jones has stated publicly he wants to fight at the White House. He tells anyone that'll listen, even last week he was at the Grammys or something like that, and speaking about how he's back testing and he's ready to fight at the White House. But Dana seems more stern in not letting him today than I have ever seen him in regards to Jon Jones. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't know that I agree. I think I would let him fight. At the end of the day, when we're fighting at the White House, you want American people that can win at the end of
The story didn't stop there. Dana White, the UFC president, eventually addressed the situation as well. On a recent podcast, White revealed that Jones had reached out personally to apologize and to express his desire to participate in the White House event. White admitted that while he accepted the apology, he had no intentions of allowing Jones into the lineup. In Dana's eyes, Jon had a history of making statements and then failing to follow through on them.
You said Jon Jones called you. And he apologized. What was that conversation like?
Well, it wasn't a conversation. He reached out. He wrote like a text saying, "Listen, sorry how this all played out or whatever. You know, I want to fight at the White House. I'm serious about that." And just one of those type of.
Has that changed your view?
No.
No, not at all.
No.
So there's no chances.
He pointed out that Jones lacked accountability, and for an event as historic as this, he couldn't afford to risk placing an umbrella fighter on the card. White emphasized that this wasn't about championship belts or pay-per-view sales, it was about trust and stability. He wanted fighters who could be counted on, and Jones, in his view, no longer fit that mold.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate him reaching out and doing that, but I need people I can count on for this fight, and I know who they are. I know who they are not.
Gotcha.
With that, Dana White effectively shut the door. The message was clear. No matter how much Jones wanted the fight with Aspinall, he would not be stepping inside the octagon at the White House card.
And John Jones says he wants to be on there too, and he says he would fight whoever the champion is at that time. But would you be okay with him like coming back and potentially winning that belt again? And you might have to go through everything.
Well, it's not even about him winning the belt. I mean, you know how I felt about him. I can't risk putting him in big positions in a big spot and have something go wrong.
Fair enough.
Yeah, especially the White House card.
Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall himself did not stay quiet. Responding to Jones' claims, Aspinall dismissed the entire idea as nothing more than false hope. He urged fans not to even consider the possibility, saying he had no interest in facing Jones at this event. Aspinall started bluntly that a Jones fight at the White House card would not happen, and that supporters should not let themselves be misled. His response added a new layer of reality to the situation, showing just how unlikely the matchup really is.
Now it's become John versus Tom would be the biggest fight ever at the White House, and even Dana has talked about it, that would be the wish list. Is that something that you even think about?
Do you want me to be honest?
Please.
It has spent 0 seconds in my mind. That's it. I'm not interested, mate. Not interested. And the world shouldn't be interested either, because what's the point? It's just false hope.
Despite all the denials, the White House card continues to draw extraordinary attention. Dana White has openly admitted that almost every fighter wants a piece of it, and established champions, former champions, and contenders alike are pushing it for their names to be included.
When the fight is going on, while the fight's happening and we're filming, one whole side of the backdrop will be the White House, and then the other side will be the Washington Monument.
How many fighters reach out to you that want to fight it?
Everybody wants to fight it.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Literally everybody wants to. Everybody. We will absolutely positively put on the baddest card of all time.
The demand has made the event even harder to manage, with speculation running rampant about who will actually make the cut. At one point, Dana himself even toyed with the idea of Jones versus Aspinall, which only added to the confusion before he shifted gears again and began speaking more about Conor McGregor's potential involvement.
McGregor hasn't been in a while. I saw right when this came out, he was back in the ring. He was actually sending us voice messages saying, guys, I'm dialed, I'm ready for this and stuff. So, and I saw Jones, we don't know if he was serious. Is he not retired anymore? Is he back in
You jump back in the pool, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Officially?
Yeah, oh yeah. Literally everybody wants to fight on this card. Makes it a lot more fun. The dream main event right now would be Aspinall versus Jones.
Is it possible that McGregor and Jones would fight on the same card?
Could be.
The possibility of McGregor fighting at the same card as Tom Aspinall quickly became a hot topic. Dana hinted that he might be planning to stage one of the most stacked and unforgettable events in UFC history. That statement alone fueled endless debates across the MMA community.
This UFC card that's going to take place on the White House lawn, how do you decide the headliner?
John Jones has made it clear I want to do this, and he sent me a text apologizing and all that stuff, but I need people that I can seriously rely on for this one. People talk shit about Conor. Conor is a guy that literally will fight anybody.
But does he care enough to actually make a fight right now?
He and I have been talking nonstop, and he's like, I'm dead serious. I want this. So we'll see.
Chael Sonnen never wanted to shy away from bold opinions, also waiting on the unfolding drama. He admitted that the entire situation was confusing to him, especially the mixed signals coming from John Jones and Dana White. Sonnen pointed out the clear difference in how Dana treated Conor McGregor compared to Jones. In Dana's eyes, McGregor is still the fighter he can trust to deliver when it matters most, while Jones is someone he no longer believes in.
White House card's gotta be the biggest fight. Can't be John Jones, he's a flake. John really wants on the card. John apologizes. He went to Dana White in a text message, and Dana said, hey, I didn't like how this whole thing went down with Aspinall. I thought that we had an agreement. I'm not cool with that. that. John came to him and apologized. Tremendous compliment Dana gave Conor, which was to say, man, I can count on him. There would be no belt. So you're going to tell me because of the placement of a card that we're going to bring in a certain star power, of which Conor is still the guy, within the placement of the card, and because it's so big, but it's not going to get a title fight. I'm just getting a little confused on the whole thing.
Sonnen also criticized the idea of building such a historic card without including championship belts. For him, the lack of titles made the event even harder to buy into. He argued that Jones in particular did not deserve a slot in the main event.
It's way too early to do this, but just for fun, because we haven't talked in a minute, can you book me like your top 3, even if you want your main card for the White House card? Who's headlining? Who's the co-main? What are you thinking?
I haven't thought a lot about it because it's a year away, but I will tell you that card is going to be used as a reward. Everybody on the roster wants on that card. But it's not a matter of I've done this or I've won that. Like Jon Jones, just for example, I'm the greatest fighter of all time. It's like, yeah, it's true, but you didn't travel the roads. You didn't set up the ring. You didn't take your turn driving the semi-truck. Like, you don't deserve a reward. But there are some other guys that I think have...
In his opinion, the fighters who had stayed consistent, loyal, and true to the UFC should be rewarded instead. Sonnen expressed frustration at the thought of Jones once again jumping into the spotlight at the expense of others who had shown commitment to the organization.
Carried some pretty heavy water. Alex Pereira comes to mind. Colby Covington, I believe, is a lock for the card. But I'll just remind you, it's going to be people. It's not going to be anybody that's been retired. It's not going to be anybody that's set out. Nobody is going to take those glorious spots except for the people who have earned them by showing their loyalty back to the industry and to the company. And frankly, none of those other guys deserve them. John does not deserve to have a main event spot on the White House card.
Amid all this, Conor McGregor's role looms largest. Dana White has hinted strongly that McGregor will headline the White House card, while Sonnen expressed doubts about whether that will actually happen. Even he admitted that it makes sense. McGregor's star power is undeniable, and if the UFC wants to break records and grab global attention, Conor is the man to put in that position.
The story that Conor McGregor is being talked to headline the White House card, I don't buy it. I can't buy it. Why are we be turning to Conor McGregor? And the answer is also out there, because he is the sport's biggest star. That is true. So is that what you need? If you've got the open checkbook and you've got the magic wand, without saying names, do you say, I'm going to put as my main event the sport's biggest star? Is that your answer? Doesn't matter who he's fighting. What if it's a championship match? If you have an open checkbook and you have a magic wand and you don't use any names, but you're going to put the championship on, would you say heavyweight?
The difference in Dana's attitudes toward McGregor and Jones could not be clearer. McGregor receives trust, patience, and loyalty. Jones receives skepticism and rejection. For fans, that contrast only adds to the drama surrounding the White House event.
Now, fans want you versus McGregor 3. Do you want that fight?
Yeah,
for sure. White House?
Yeah, what time goes. We'll see what happens. Time will tell, guys.
Oh, you're a legend. Thank you for your time, bro. Appreciate you.
At this point, the picture looks something like this. Jon Jones has loudly called out Tom Aspinall, reigniting a rivalry many believe dead. Daniel Cormier has brushed it off as another one of Jones' stunts. Dana White has firmly closed the door, saying Jones lacks accountability, and Tom Aspinall himself has shot the idea down, saying it is nothing but false hope. And Shield Sonnen has layered on his own criticism, arguing that Jones does not deserve the opportunity, while McGregor seems destined to headline.
I sure did retire, but everyone loves a good comeback, right, guys? I'm Jon Jones, and yes, I called it quits in June 2025, letting Tom Aspinall become undisputed heavyweight champ. But rumors of a dream return are swirling. Even a planned UFC card at the White House in 2026 caught my eye. Let me be clear, I've re-entered the UFC drug testing pool. I'm sharpening up, ready for what's next. It doesn't matter who's across the cage. What matters is fighting on that historic stage for my country. There's a fire in me again.
The fans are caught in the middle. On one side, the excitement of seeing Jones step into the cage caught against Aspinall is undeniable. On the other, the reality painted by Dana, Cormier, Aspinall, and Sonnen makes it look like a fantasy that will never come true.
And so Dana White revealing that Jon Jones apologized to him, to me, is extremely telling. What is he apologizing for? I'll tell you what he's apologizing for, as I've said multiple times, and by the way, has not been refuted by anyone. At this point, you'd think someone, if it wasn't true, would have refuted it. John Jones wanted a lot of money. The number that I was told was $30 million. The UFC said no, then they said yes, then they got the money. They said, we got you the money, let's go, you versus Tom Aspinall. He said he was in, took a few days, said he was out. I've told this story a million times now. No one has refuted it.
Still, John Jones remains determined. For him, the chance to fight on the White House card is something he cannot ignore. Even with every door closing around him, he made clear that he is ready and willing to make the fight happen. That determination ensures that the discussion will not fade anytime soon.
First and foremost, are you retired?
I am not retired. I'm actively training 5 days a week, and I'm in the UFC's drug testing pool.
Great. And what's the status of the fight at the White House?
I don't really know. It's kind of out of my control right now. I'm training for the event. I'll be ready for the event. That's my goal. That's my intention. But ultimately, it's up to the boss.
The MMA world thrives on unpredictability, and the situation proves it once again. Dana White says no, Tom Aspinall says no, Cormier and Sonnen both doubt James' place in the story, and yet Jones himself says yes. And as history has shown, one negotiation, one twist, or one sudden decision from Dana White can change everything.
John Jones is apologizing for doing that, or at least it has been revealed that he apologized for doing that. And what I think is very telling about this is, as I said last week, that interview that he did on the red carpet with his PR person, John Jones has buyer's remorse, or at least, what is the opposite of buyer's remorse? He didn't buy anything. He has some kind of remorse. You know what I'm saying?
FOMO?
Maybe FOMO is the word. Thank you, Frank.
You're welcome.
He does not want to miss out on what's happening next June, next July. It sounds like June at the White House. And he realizes he should have stuck around. And so he is apologizing. And look, I'm not saying that Dana White won't do this. He seems to be pretty damn steadfast on not doing it.
That said, from Ring Rivalry, should John Jones really face Tom Aspinall at the White House card, or is it all just hype? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fight drama straight to your feed.